So how pleasure and pain are related with each other. And I've heard somewhere that whatever is activated in our brain for pleasure is activated for pain. Isn't it unbelievable?
It's
That
same.
at the same place. Why are these things so related? Because actually what you mentioned, when you don't get what gives you pleasure, then what you get, pain.
And what gives you pain?
The attachment to
Attachment.
this pleasure, to this
Exactly.
desire. What I also find interesting is that we people tend to produce the same outcome until we are just a little bit lucky to meet someone to help us see the things from a different aspect, or if we are smart enough to realize that we're trapped in trauma. Because it's very interesting that many people are traumatized, they experience abuse, or they have been experiencing abuse many times in their lives, chronically, whatever. They keep attracting that with a partner, for example, apart from their parents. And what I find very interesting is that they don't even realize that this is abuse. Why? Because they are familiar with that and they do believe that that's normal. They don't realize that that's abuse, because imagine that someone grows up in a family that everyone, that's an extreme example, how to say, I don't want to use say toxic, the word toxic,
Say what
I don't
feels
want to
comfortable for
say
you.
less functional family.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, less functional family. How can this person understand that this is trauma? That's why I made this podcast. Because you don't learn. You don't learn about these things at school. Nobody tells you. Nobody speaks about trauma. As people have to feel embarrassed. And we've seen this happening a lot. That we feel embarrassed for something that has happened to us, as if we had provoked this, at least at this life, right? So I was talking a little bit about the turning point. How does someone realize that what I have experienced, it's traumatic? Or if you want to share about you, whatever you want to talk about, how do you realize that something that you have experienced wasn't good, that was traumatic, that was abuse? Because to heal, to feel, to go out from this trap, you need first to realize that what you have experienced is traumatic, was traumatic.
There's many ways, many steps you can say, but the first thing we have to understand is feeling in the body.
It's a very good example.
Feeling in the
Simon.
body. And at any stage, there's only two things happening in your body. Either you're feeling dark or light. You can't be happy and sad at the same time. It's impossible. So tuning into the body and understanding that what is darkness, not to run away from that, understanding what is darkness, right? And also what is light. So in my case, there's many histories, but I'm going to just take one example. When I say many histories, I wouldn't be doing this with you because it's an opportunity to talk about it, as you said, right? So let's take one example. I don't want to go too much details, but I was abused, yeah? And as a child, that was a very traumatic experience for sure. And then, in order to escape from these painful feelings, I ran away kind of from my home, and I started a new life in Australia. So I grew up in India, but still these painful feelings were there, right? So my mechanism to cope up with these painful feelings were, as I said, alcohol, even cigarette, and working hard. But after these years of numbing my feelings, things started to come in surface. And the ways things come from the surface is, from my experience, others might have a different experience, was depression.
Depression.
Very high amount of depression. I was so numb with my feelings. I was lost in life. I had no energy to get out of the bed, to go to work. If someone says something to me, I would feel numb from inside. And this feeling of darkness was with me for a long time.
So that people who listen to us right now do understand that that's normal things. We people don't talk a lot about that, and especially when it comes to us. So it takes a lot of courage to share our experience or part of our experience so that we feel more empowered and others who listen to us at the same time. So how long can this last? I know for everyone it's different, but can it last forever if you don't do something for this?
Well, I will answer this question in two directions. Let's say if it helps people who are listening. In my case, these feelings were there for about 20, 22, 23 years because I was numbing them. I was just suppressing under the surface. It came up in the surface, and that feeling, I was with these feelings for almost 2 years. Almost 2 years aware of this darkness, you can say. Aware of this darkness. Before, I was suppressing it like a small thing under the carpet. But started to feel this darkness for about 2 years.
Okay, so how do you realize? Because I am afraid that when we experience something, we're not aware of this at the same time. We don't observe ourselves. And the deeper we go, the more difficult it is to go up, right? So how did you realize that that's depression? What I'm experiencing now, that's darkness. I live there in darkness. And to take accountability and to choose a different path. Do you remember how did this happen and what was that helps you to go out?
Well, let me tell you from my experience, when you have depression, you can't think of accountability. You can't say, I'm going to choose a different path. Because when you're depressed, your feelings are so numb, you have no idea about accountability. You have no idea about energy. You have no idea what is going on because this depression has took over. It's like saying, you are depressed. Why don't you do something about it? Well, this depressed person would never understand because I've been there. My friends would talk to me about it, but I would have no idea. You know, how it turned to me really was through my body. I went to a very dark stage. At some stage, I didn't want to continue to live life, right?
But Romy, before we get there, how did you realize that you were depressed? That you experienced depression? Because that's also important.
That I would not feel anything except darkness all the time.
And did you know at this point, while you were experiencing that, were you aware of this, that this is probably depression? Because some people experience this and they don't know that this is depression. That's why I'm emphasizing this a lot.
To be honest, I was not aware that this has been going on.
And how did you experience it? For example, you didn't have the urge, you didn't want to get out of the bed, to go out, to meet others. Or you were hyperactive, because this can also happen when someone is depressed. Like to be hyperactive and overperform.
Well, scientifically, I cannot give you the answer, but spiritually, I can. I feel that there must be some good karma. I'm not sure the listeners listen to karma or understanding of karma, but I feel that spiritually, I feel that I must have done something in previous lives.
Good. Except
Good, bad, who knows?
Except for bad, something good.
Exactly.
Right?
That you can say a life force, let's not go controversial about saying God or higher power or other names. It doesn't really matter. I think the life force created a little spark even through this depression inside me. And this little spark, I felt like you can say a little light inside me. Was a very little spark, right? And that light inside me created that turning point.
Do you remember how did this light, how it was triggered? Really, I'm asking you this question if you remember, because it's important. Others who see the signs to take advantage of them.
Yeah.
Was it something that you hear? Maybe it was even a YouTube video that you saw and it helped you overcome.
That's a
this,
very interesting
not overcome,
question.
something that triggered you, but positively.
That's a very interesting question, and that's what changed my life, and this is what I am doing in this moment because of what happened in the past. I was sitting at home. I was meditating. And on that time, I started only meditating only because to reduce my anxiety, actually. And while I was meditating, I had this experience. And I had this kind of small light. And that was a turning point for me. Of course, other people might have different experiences, like listening to YouTube podcasts, maybe dancing, maybe surfing, maybe whatever your experience may be. But for me, that was meditation.
Could you also say that it was also the right timing?
You could be right.
Because we do need to feel this pain, like you said before. We do need to sit with our pain. We do need to go into darkness.
Sure.
So
I
that
agree
we're
with that.
able to get out of this.
I agree with you. Everything has its own timing. The best way I can explain is, let's say you are a mom and you have a baby inside in your belly. The baby takes 9 months, right, to get out of the mom's belly. Well, you cannot tell the baby come out in 2 months. You cannot tell the baby come out in 3 months. The baby will come out when the baby is ready. 9 months, 9 months 1 day, 9 months 2 days, 8 months 25 days. The baby will come out when the baby is ready. You can't force it. The same with this light we are talking about. It will come out when your soul is ready or when you are ready. It cannot happen before or earlier. All you can do is allow yourself for this light to be revealed, especially in dark times. But again, once the light is revealed, then life is completely different. Then you always have a choice. Either I'm going to experience darkness or light.
So what you're saying is, what advice would you give to someone who experienced this now? What I hear from what you're saying is, sit with it, experience the pain, live in this darkness, because the only way to go out this tunnel is to go through this tunnel. So sit with that, and also remember the timing, that there is a good timing for everyone. And this has to do a little bit with us trusting us, the universe, the God, whatever we believe in.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm not here to give any advice, but I can talk about second example. I'm not sure if you know what is Vipassana. It's a Buddhist way to meditate, right? And so I think it was 3 years ago, I went to this silent meditation of Vipassana, and that's what they teach you, is to sit with it. Whatever is arising inside you, darkness, you gotta sit with it. And I went to such a deep state of meditation. I saw darkness, of course, inside me, and it's a 10-day silent retreat.
Wow.
And on the 7th day, I could see the light for I would say, third time in my life at a experiential level, not at the intellectual level, the truth level, yeah? But they also teach you gotta sit with this darkness. Never run away.
How important this is, and how difficult can this be for someone who has experienced really severe amount of trauma, really severe amount of pain. Because I guess we shouldn't compare cases, because I guess that life brings to people whatever they are capable of overcoming, right? Something that is equal to their strength to deal with. But the more severe the pain is, the more severe the trauma is, the more difficult it becomes to sit with the pain, and the more easy it becomes to develop self-defense mechanisms, coping mechanisms.
Yes, but there's also another good point to add on your topic. The more trauma you have, the more difficult it is, the more light it's gonna reveal.
That's so interesting. That's so nice. And let's talk a little bit about that, because I know that you also teach at the School of Healing. And you mentioned, because I attended your class, about the soul's and life's purpose. And at some point, you also mentioned that the reason we come to this earth is to transform our pain into something positive. Could you elaborate a little bit more on this?
This is genuinely, I feel, that our soul has come into the planet for only one reason, is to transform, is to evolve this darkness, which everyone goes through, otherwise we wouldn't be here, to light. This is very simple for me. Whether you relate or not, you can label into different things like positive, negative, but from my experience, it's only darkness or light. Yeah, this is the only reason we came into the life. Yeah, and then the darkness could be in many shapes and forms. You don't even know. Could be generational trauma, could be sexual trauma, many types of trauma. But the only reason we came into the life is to transform this darkness into light. Now, in this darkness, we make contracts. We make contracts. Why?
That's so interesting. Such a hot topic.
It's a very hot
Soul
topic.
contracts.
Yeah, because scientifically, science still cannot prove. Yeah. But this discussion we are having is more mystical and more esoteric in nature. So whether you can relate or not, because science is still understanding lots of things about it. So your question was about soul contracts.
Yeah, exactly. About the transformation that you said, that we came here to transform, and that's very related to the soul contracts as well. So how does this happen in practice when we come to this earth? How can we transform the pain into something nice, into light?
So in these dark moments, whether it's this life or previous lives, we make soul contracts. And generally, there's about 4 main soul contracts.
Hang on, 4 contracts in every lifetime, right?
It depends on how you're evolving in each life, how you transform
So
in each life.
the more contracts you do, the less developed you are, or the opposite?
You can't say developed because in spirituality, it's all about evolving.
Okay, less evolving person.
You can say that in the end, spirituality is all about that. Is to become evolved, to become more connected to life. That's what spirituality is all about.
Okay, and tell us more about the soul contracts.
So there's 4 types. Primary is, the first is the healing contract. What healing contract is, you make a contract before coming to life by choosing people to be shown in this lifetime before coming to life. That's why you choose your family. Your family, you choose, correct me if I'm wrong, you're born in Greece, right?
Yes, I was born in Greece.
Yeah. So in previous life, before coming to this lifetime, you chose, your soul made a contract. I want to be born in Greece in this time, in this family. I want to be born as a woman. This contract you made with the universe.
Wow. So you're saying not only we choose our parents or people we will relate with, but also we choose our external characteristics, perhaps.
Exactly.
And the country we will born, or this means also the financial situation, and that's interesting. And I've heard this before. On YouTube, because there is a channel about near-death experiences, and some people have experienced that. They have witnessed. They have mentioned this, that they also chose external characteristics. What is the purpose of choosing that? Because somehow, can it be that the external situations will be related to our healing process? They are related to our
Absolutely.
healing process.
Absolutely. That's why I choose a certain time to be born, a certain month to be born to get these external characteristics, right? So that's why, let's say, if you're a fire sign, you chose your soul contracts, behaviors are anger, control, and judgment. That's what the external characteristics, external factors to be born in the fire sign. That's your soul contract to be born in fire sign. Let's say if you are born in air sign, your external behaviors would be lack of commitment and negative speech. The people who are born in air sign tend to have the negative speech that could be gossip. Well, the power of words is, we can have a whole episode about the power of words it plays in our life, right? Then it would be earth sign, which is guilt, self-judgment. So these are the two characteristics of earth sign. So what are we missing? Fire? We're missing.
Air, because I'm Aquarius.
There we go. And the last is water. The water is the jealousy sign, and the water is also addiction. So any sort of addiction you want to manifest as your external characters through healing contracts is addiction. So let me give you one example, actually. It's a very deep example. Let's see if people can understand. Let's say you made a contract to be born in water sign. You made a choice before coming to this life that you were born under the water sign, and you chose external character to be, let's say, addiction. Addiction with anything. Addiction with money, addiction with watching sports, addiction with traveling, any addiction. But guess what happens is you choose this addiction, but in this healing contract, you will choose a parent, either dad or mom, who's addicted to either alcohol.
Why does this happen, Romy?
Because this is a contract you made. This is a contract. It's like, let's say,
so you choose a parent who will have these traits that you have to deal with from the
Exactly.
past life. Is
Exactly.
this what you're saying? So that's a double challenge, because
Double
not only
challenge.
you do have these traits inside you, probably your soul remembers,
Exactly.
but you also have your parents.
Exactly. I mean, to make it easy for people to understand, let's say you want to buy a house, you will go through a lawyer, you will have many contracts. You want to have a plumber, you want to have a carpenter, you want to have someone for the garden. You make these contracts, right? Agreements, contracts. Because what does it do? It serves your contract. There's many people who will do this contract, right? Same with your personal lifestyle. You made a contract, your mom and dad plays a primary role in the healing contract. Because that's the most deepest wound you're going to learn. The most deepest wound. It's like a structure of the house.
I'm wondering, because what you're saying is really deep, I'm wondering how people would act in this lifetime if they knew, or if they believed in what you're saying, that they chose the beginning of their lives here. How different would the things be? This probably would set us free.
Absolutely.
Would help us to set.
It gives you empowerment.
It gives empowerment.
It gives you empowerment. Because then you're not going to blame
Others.
others, countries, circumstances, people.
Yeah.
Because you become more accountable, more empowered. And more importantly, the light will reveal.
But how easy it how easy it is to leave this blame, to get out of this space, because it's normal when you have experienced pain from someone repeatedly. And to be honest, I'm talking about severe childhood trauma, which is the most, I think, the most extreme way of pain. It's not when you're adult, but when you're a child and you cannot defend yourself. How can you reach to a point to take accountability and forget, leave this place where you blame your parents?
It's not easy.
For sure.
It's not easy.
And now it's the point where you say we would need maybe many lifetimes,
lifetimes.
to deal with that.
Many
I
lifetimes.
hope not.
I hope not too. I hope not too. It's not easy. It's not easy. But also understanding that these contracts are not flaws, not a burden, but opportunity to evolve, right? So the second type of contract we make, so the first one is healing. Second is growth contracts. So we choose partners, or in these growth contracts, there's two things which
We choose partners.
you choose partners. Before coming to this lifetime, you choose partners to teach you grow.
But
Partners.
not like everyone partners. I guess certain partners, like the karmic relationships, perhaps. That's also a hot topic. I don't want to jump from the topic to another, but that's also interesting. So how is this related to the karmic relationships? Choosing your partner.
So the karmic relationships fall into a different contract. But in the growth contract, any person who you have kind of intimate relationship, that could be a partner, could be someone you're dating, could be someone,
Friend, a really good friend.
good friend, could be a boyfriend, girlfriend. In the end, you make this contract. So let's say, let's people can relate to that. Let's say you on a date and you make a profile online and you go in the profile and you meet someone. In the first 1 month, 2 months was going amazing, but in the third month, it fell apart. Okay, no problems. But in essence, and then you feel heartbroken. Then you say, oh, man is this, woman is that, he is this, she is that, right? But in the end, your soul already made this contract to grow and learn. That was the only reason this person came into your life, to show you what you need to see. Whether you're ready or not ready, that's a separate story. But before coming to this lifetime, you choose that I want to meet, let's say a woman's name Michelle, at 11 o'clock in morning in Thailand.